I'm going to sip my coffee into the microphone as you crack a beer.
Sick, yeah.
You ready?
Well,
it's a podcast and it's ASMR.
I'm going to crack a beer into my microphone. Oh, it was really quiet. I already did it.
I want to jump in as much as possible, but I guess like a bit of context. So yeah, this is Alex and Wez Polish the Turd.
Polish the turd or polish a turd?
Yeah, so it's Alex and Wez Polish a Turd.
I've been calling it polish a turd all the time.
Okay, yeah. Alex and Wez Polish a Turd, because you can polish a turd, but it's still a piece of shit. So basically, the premise is we are watching pretty shit films. Like this one we're starting with today, which is Transmorphers. It's a 1.7 out of 10 on IMDb, which is, it's bottom of the barrel. It is in their like bottom 50 films on there. And the whole idea is pick out the best bits.
The redeeming factors.
Yeah, I guess like the whole point of the podcast is to make you want to watch this awful film by the end of it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I like that. I haven't explained it that way to anyone else, but I really like that explanation.
That's like the goal. And obviously, it's not always going to be successful, because some films are just kind of shit. I'll say before we start discussing, I think this was a very hard one to polish that we started with. But nevertheless, we'll give it a try. Yeah. But yeah, so that's the gist of it. Me and Wez, bit of background on us, maybe. I'd say me and you have wanted to do a podcast together for at least 8 years.
Yeah, well, we tried one quite a few years ago.
Yeah, I think that was 8 years ago.
So we had like one microphone used for like singing, and we dangled it between our heads. It
was bad from the get-go, because we kind of thought, what were we talking about? It was like movie news?
Movie news, yeah. We didn't really have like a premise. I think that was our first downfall.
We put real little thought going into it, and we also tried to talk about like our personal lives, like funny stories from our personal lives. And
no one gives a shit about that.
no one would have cared. And I look back at that now, and I think like, why the fuck did we think that was a good idea? But we never released it, so clearly we realised as well that it wasn't a good idea.
There would have been about like 5 other people that would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I have been around all their homes for dinner.
So kind of like my process of watching this, I've never really taken notes while watching a movie. But it was good. I did find myself like pausing it every like minute or two to make a note. So this hour 26 movie turned into like a 3-hour experience for me.
Yeah, because I thought I'd done really well, because like you, I haven't taken notes on a movie since I did a film course in college.
Yeah,
probably the same for you. You did the exact same course.
Yeah.
And I thought I had done well, because I've got like 4 pages of solid notes. And then you have like 10? Was it 10?
Yeah, so I've got like an A5 pad. I've got 10 pages. But some of it's like just fleeting thoughts. Some's like quotes. So I won't read all of them, because some of it is just...
Some of mine is just bad. Like, I've just written here, bad ADR.
Yeah.
And that's dumb, because looking back on that now, I don't know what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I've got some like that say at 59 minutes or something like that, what the note is about. And that's why I've got it up on the TV as well.
But,
because I want to be able to reference back.
I suppose this is a learning curve for both of us.
Yeah, definitely.
So if we start talking about the film today and I realise like, shit, my notes are useless, then next time I'll know to take better notes.
But I think that's why I ended up with 10 pages, because every time I just thought something, I was like, write it down.
Yeah. I guess all my notes, other than like I said, that one that just says bad ADR, I really have tried to write about good stuff. A lot of what I've written down is stretching, and I feel like that there's going to be a lot of that on this podcast.
Well, I think we have to talk about the bad points as well.
Oh yeah, no, like I thought a good way to open this would be like by saying, so what makes it a turd?
Okay.
What makes Transmorphers a turd of a film, and then we can go into the reasons why it's not such a turd.
Yeah. So my notes sort of work in order of the movie. I'm sure yours do as well. So like, I think we maybe should start with the beginning and just work our way through the notes we've got, work our way through the movie.
Okay, so I'll like do the whole thing chronologically, Turd and Polished Turd.
Yeah, I think so. Discuss anything we want to talk about, and then as we go, talk about the polished stuff. I actually have a list at the end of my notes, so I made a list of anything that I thought redeemed it. I did that after I'd finished the movie, and then I've also got a scale from 1 to 5, each with its own label that we can discuss at the end of.
Yeah, that sounds
where
interesting.
It sits.
Cool. I don't know. I'm into that. Do you want to just dive in now?
Yeah, dive in. I mean, I literally want to start with the title card.
My first note is straight into titles.
No music.
No music. Because it's literally... I think it... Does it even say, like... I think it says, like a Lee Scott film or something before. And then you get that Transmorphers logo.
With a sound effect that they definitely just went into Google and searched robot sound. And picked the first 100%. Thing that they found.
I honestly think every single sound effect in this film, they just searched like royalty-free sound effect. I don't believe they did any of their own Foley art.
There is no Foley in this.
Because they're obviously trying to do it's a spin on like the I want to call Transformers Transmorphers now.
Oh, I was the opposite way around. I kept finding it hard to not write Transformers every time I made a note.
But yeah, what actually... So just like a big overarching thing that I want to say about the whole film. It's really not like Transformers at all.
So I think the Asylum movies in general, which is the production company that made Transmorphers, I think they just take a blockbuster movie like Transformers and just take a really general idea of it, like the robots, and then just make a pretty original story based on a specific part of a blockbuster movie.
Yeah, like that is fair. Like they took the name Transformers, changed it very, very, very slightly, and had robots in their film. And I think that's where it ends.
Because it is an original movie. I was looking up the director Lee Scott, who I think is a Trump supporter, but you know.
Oh no. Is he? I know he did one of his first films was like about the 9/11 Commission report or something. Sure. And I haven't seen it, but now you saying that, I'm almost certain it's going to be like a conspiracy theorist movie.
I didn't want to dive too much into his political views, to be honest. But I read a couple interviews with him, and he really argued that Transmorphers was an original movie, and it was before I'd even started watching the film. And so I was like, oh, you're crazy. Like, how you're delusional, you know. But when I was watching it, I was like, no, it is somewhat an original movie.
Yeah, no, it is. I think this film, you can clearly tell it's where its influences is, and we'll get to that as we go through it. Like, it does take... And I would never say it got to the point of being rip-offy, but you can see where the influences lie from other movies. Yeah. But other than the title, nothing about it's really a rip-off.
I mean, they've got robots that turn into other things.
But the thing is, like, even that, like, they're robots that just turn into slightly different robots. Yeah. It's not like Transformers where it's like, oh, look, it's a truck now. It's like, oh no, that robot's now just a robot with a bigger gun.
Yeah, that robot can now shoot bigger robot bullets.
It's nothing special. I was a bit underwhelmed by how the robots transmorphed.
Yeah, they didn't transmorph enough for my liking.
I wanted to see some like wacky shit and let down.
I guess I mean we'll get to this again. Like they did transform into some wacky shit, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like back to the titles. So yeah, it just goes straight into it. Transmorphers, no music whatsoever, and then it opens in 2009. Yeah. Which is weird because it's 2 years from when this film was released. I don't know why they didn't just say 2007.
Very so
yeah, I was just like, okay, do they think like 2 years is the distant future or something? I don't know.
Yeah, so fuck this movie.
Yeah, fuck it. So yeah, they say they found life on another planet, and the planet looked like it was on fire. Like it's a dying planet, and maybe that's why the Transmorphers are heading to Earth.
So are the Transmorphers those little ball things that are flying through space?
Yeah, that's what I got. They were the little orbs.
See, I actually only realised that now that I've got it on a screen in front of me.
What did you think? That was like Earth probes or something?
You know what? I didn't think anything. I kind of just saw that and was like, okay, where are the robots?
I genuinely liked this intro.
Okay.
The whole thing gave me a real Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds vibe.
Yeah.
You know, that like whole slowly but surely they drew their plans against us. Like even the narrator's doing that sort of vibe, and it gave me like a genuine sense of like dread almost.
Wow.
Like I know. I went into this with such an open mind. Like I didn't usually. I go in, when you put on a movie that you think is shit and you're already on the attack.
Well, I think that's
I didn't do that.
I think that's the effect of this podcast already. I want it to be good. I want it to give me definitely. A reason to go to people and say, you need to watch this movie. Like,
yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I think we're kind of rooting for it to be good.
Definitely. I guess it's like maybe I have like specific phobias, like around space and aliens or something. But like all those shots, because they use some like stock footage of like satellites being launched and stuff like that, and then it skips to 5 years into the future, and now it's 2014, the distant future.
Yeah, well, that was one of my points a bit later on. I wrote that I thought it was way too futuristic for 2014, like blaster guns and.
Well, this is the thing, okay? Because I agreed with you, but looking on the wiki page and like the plot on IMDb, the whole bulk of the film is set in like 2400s or something.
Yeah, so that's what I couldn't quite understand.
But I don't remember a bit in the film where, like, I know they say it's 2009, and then they say 5 years later the robots arrive, but I don't remember it. Maybe it did. I don't remember it saying like, 400 years later or something.
No, I mean, I'm kind of like skipping around at the moment and I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, maybe I'm missing it.
But yeah, the intro doesn't fuck around at all.
So the intro does not fuck around. That robot that swoops down and transmorphs onto the ground, that literally made me shout out, oh my god. But the thing is, this is the last robot we see for so long.
Yeah, because I initially wrote like about how great it was. They're showing us the Transmorphers so soon, because so many other B movies, like I wouldn't necessarily lump this one in with it, but around this time, I'd say from like maybe 2009 onwards, we had that big wave of movies that were made to be bad, like Piranha 3 Double D, Sharktopus, Sharknado, and all those films, you see Sharktopus like at the 40-minute mark. And they show him so sparingly. So I was so psyched when, like, 1 minute, 50 seconds in, or whatever it was, I think I wrote it, you see a Transmorpher.
But that is it for 40 minutes.
Yeah. You don't see any others for a while. And it's straight into, like, cities being destroyed as well.
Yeah. So that must be 2014.
Yeah, that everything goes to shit.
And then we have the opening credits, which are...
Yeah, with, like, the most 2001 soundtrack.
Yeah, and I think that is the Transformers font as well that they've used.
Oh, really?
I think so. I mean, it looks so similar.
It's very similar. But yeah, so after that, you get this repeated shot of what I guess is like the human like hub world. So
that was my first point, that I think that actually looks great.
Yeah, that looked sick. I've put like very Matrix / HR Giga inspired. Really digging this.
Yeah, I wrote, there's a shot of the underground city that is actually quite sick. And I think it is. I think it looks amazing. I think it does lose a bit of its coolness. Yeah, the amount that they show it.
They obviously spent a lot on that and wanted to keep showing it.
I mean, why not? I mean,
why not? Yeah, it does look sick.
It is really cool.
You never really get a sense of, like, other than that establishing shot, the world never feels as big, Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
They show you that big, cool-looking human hub underneath the earth, but then the rest of the film with the humans is just a few rooms.
It feels it feels confined to a few rooms. And then straight after that really cool shot of the city, you get this horrible radar graphic.
Yeah.
That they, again, just keep showing. And
they show it so many times. Honestly,
every time they showed it, I didn't know what was going on. Like,
no.
They showed it to give me some sort of information about where robots were and stuff.
All those shots of that woman at the periscope and the other guy. Do you know, like, the general guy?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They definitely shot all his scenes and all the periscope scenes in, like, a few hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind that they weren't on that set for more than a day.
Did you notice that he, like, completely cut off the periscope woman, like, halfway through one of her sentences?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just completely cuts her off. And I was trying to figure out, I watched it like 2 or 3 times, and I was trying to figure out if it was on purpose, if it was scripted, or he was just, like, rushing into his lines or something.
Right.
But I just couldn't figure it out.
No, I didn't notice that. I noticed a lot of stuff like that, like where people stutter to say a line because the person before has obviously read it differently to the script or something.
Yeah.
And there is, I know I mentioned it already, but there is a lot of bad ADR in this film.
Yeah,
there's
100%.
a lot of times where the character's mouth's moving, and what you're hearing is just completely different. Like it's like Kung Pao levels of ADR, you know. But yeah, so you see the periscope, you see the general dude. It's really going to bother me. I might just quickly look up his name. You see, the thing with low budget films like this is, when you go on IMDb to try to figure out who's who, no one's got like a picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Maguire.
No, Maguire. Is it Maguire?
Yeah, I just got the subtitles up and it says he's Maguire talking.
That makes sense because one of my notes just says Maguire equals strong jaw. Because he does have a very strong jaw.
Such a strong jaw.
I know, I was like entranced by this man's jaw. So yeah, you meet him. And this is the thing, right? Okay, so a lot of the story in this went over my head.
Yeah, I found it really hard to follow. I was kind of like just letting it happen to me.
Yeah, like I got the gist of certain bits. So like the robots are slowly kind of encroaching on the human territory.
Yeah, so they're like taking over the world and they're brainwashing people, or
yeah, they got like the brain rays or whatever they call them.
They're like sucking
brain scan.
Yeah, they're sucking the data out of human heads. And apparently later on in the movie, the way to cure that is to count backwards from 100.
Just like everything.
Yeah. Coronavirus, count backwards from 100.
Just count backwards from 100. And if you're a child and don't know how to do that, then you're probably going to... That's why the children and the elderly die.
Yeah, they can't count backwards from 100.
Oh, wow.
There you go, it all makes sense.
Wow.
So the scene where they're like getting the soldiers ready for their fight, the guy who is actually Blackthorn, he calls the machines tin heads and overgrown toaster ovens in the same sentence. Yeah. And I thought that was great. That actually made me laugh like out loud.
Yeah.
Because it was so stupid. It was like he couldn't decide what nickname to call them.
Yeah, like he wrote them both. When they were doing the screenplay, he came up with both those ideas and liked them both so much. But there's a character later on that refers to them as tin heads like every time she talks about them.
I like it. It's so like inoffensive.
So what? Okay, we're coming up. Blackthorn's sending out like a unit of troops. Not Maguire. No, yeah, it's Blackthorn and Clinton, I think, are the only two that get named.
Okay.
They head out. One of my notes just says they really don't fuck around with the rain, because that's another thing I really liked in the outdoor shots on Earth's surface. They did a really good job of creating like this like dystopia almost, you know, like, and they didn't fuck around with the rain. Like, it was raining.
Well, they mentioned that on the Earth that it rains all the time.
Yeah.
And partway through the movie, some of the soldiers are wearing goggles around their neck.
Yeah.
And I actually have a note somewhere that says, like, why do they have goggles around their necks? And then later on, they explain that it's always raining on the Earth's surface. Raining. So that's why they wear goggles when they're up there. I mean, I don't know how that helps really, but
no,
it's a good idea.
Yeah, so then they start referring to the robots as Z-bots.
Yeah.
And then they stop calling them Z-bots again until the end of the film and start calling them Z-bots again.
Cool. What does the Z stand for?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it just like, is it cool?
I guess.
It is cool, but if you're doing it because it's cool, just say you're doing it because it's cool.
Yeah, we should call ourselves the Z-boys.
Yeah. But yeah, you do get a robot, don't you, around here? I thought you still a robot around here when they're on the surface.
Yeah. So when they're up on the surface and it's raining, the building behind them turns into a robot. Or like, you know, like the debris.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
And one of the characters says, like, they're changing.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wrote that they're all around us, they're changing, and then it cuts to anything that isn't the Transmorphers changing.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant.
But yeah, I quite like that they can turn into like anything they want, apparently.
Right, but you only ever see them really transform into like the same 2 or 3 guns.
Or buildings.
Or buildings, yeah. Apparently. So yeah, then they cut back obviously, like, they have to ditch the humans on the surface for some reason. I don't know if that was because... Why did they let them die up there?
They didn't want to give away, like, their position.
Yeah, that was it.
If they sent something or a signal or something, they would give away where they were based.
Right.
Yeah, I'm watching... I'm seeing that scene now.
So they let all these people die.
So they all die, and then we get a brand new crew. Like, 15 minutes into the movie, we get a whole new cast of people. Like, we haven't even had a chance to learn these, like, 9
it's
people's
literally
names.
like the next scene is a room full of new characters.
Yeah. I actually thought that was really cool. Like,
yeah.
no actual, like, blockbuster movie would be ballsy enough to hire a cast of 10 people to have them in it for 15 minutes. And then and then start the movie again with a whole new cast.
Just to show how deadly the Transmorphers are.
That's true. They are deadly. They'll kill 8 to 9 people.
They will. They won't think twice.
They won't think twice.
So yeah, you meet all these new people now, and they don't say a lot of their character names until later in the film, which was confusing. And they're all talking about Warren Mitchell.
Yes, Warren Mitchell.
They're literally all verbally sucking this guy's dick. Other than, like, it's like 2 people that are just calling him, like, a traitor. But yeah, there's one lady in particular who I think later on you find out she's called, like, Xandria?
Yeah.
Like the one with the curly red hair. But she was, like, really going on about how much she likes Warren.
Yeah.
Like, big time.
Yeah.
Like she has a real thing for the guy. I didn't remember that conversation they were having about Warren having a concrete end, but the next scene is them unfreezing Warren. So I guess they decided it was a good idea.
Yeah. So I'm just getting to the unfreezing now.
But yeah, so Warren Mitchell is played by Matthew Wolfe, and he actually isn't a bad actor.
Yeah, has he been in anything else?
Not like any big roles, but I thought even in this he wasn't terrible.
He was alright.
You know?
I had some trouble with his accent, even though it's our accent.
Yeah, and he is actually from London.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just couldn't quite get my head around it. I thought he was putting it on, but I assume he's not.
See, I feel like because everyone else is really hamming it up, it affects how you perceive his accent.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true in any case.
But no, I had seen... So Matthew Wolfe, apparently, I did go on his IMDb. Yeah. He voiced Thor in the Hulk vs. Thor.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Animated. Yeah, no, it is cool. That because the Hulk vs. DVD, I had that, and that's sick. It's Hulk vs. Thor and Hulk vs. Wolverine.
Yeah. Wow, that is cool. That's like actually a huge get.
He's got a lot of voice acting work. He was also in EastEnders for a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his acting debut. Was EastEnders. Because I had that thing where I vaguely recognised him, but now seeing that he was in EastEnders from 1996 to 1997, that was the era where my parents watched that every day. So maybe it was just in my mind somewhere, you know.
You've been a fan all this time. You just didn't know.
Exactly. Matthew Wolfe has always been my boy.
It's why you have that Matthew Wolfe tattoo.
It is. One of my notes literally just says, "Love this man's curls. What beautiful eyes."
I don't have any notes about this man's beautiful curls.
But he does. I would follow this man into combat.
So one point I wanted to make, just after they've unfrozen him, he talks to the general, is she, I think?
Yeah, General Van Ryberg.
Nice. So he talks about being frozen. He was frozen for 5 years, 16 days, I think. He was supposed to be frozen for 100 years for treason, or it was a punishment nonetheless. But so as he's talking to the general, he says that when you're frozen, you relive the same dream over and over again. I thought he was going to go into something saying that the dream he was having was a nightmare and it was hell, and she's put him through this horrible experience. But he actually was having a really nice dream where he laid in the sun every day. And he was complaining that she had brought him back into this horrible world. It doesn't sound like that much of a punishment to be frozen for 100 years.
No. It has a real, is it like Buffy Series 6? Do you know where they bring her back from the dead?
Yeah.
and she was actually in heaven.
Yeah, she's having a really good time.
Yeah, she was having a sweet time. And so Warren Mitchell was having the time of his life, didn't have to worry about fucking Transmorphers.
Just lying in the sun.
Just chilling in the sun. Probably had a bevy, probably had a bird. Was just chilling there, and they've defrosted him.
But I just feel like if this is their sort of punishment, like if there's like a serial murderer, and they're like, yeah, you're being frozen for, 200 years, 300 years. Hopefully he just has a really nice dream and then it's sweet days for him.
Exactly. And he doesn't age.
Yeah, you don't age.
It's got the same problem. Okay, because Demolition Man, which I watched quite recently, they also, instead of giving people a prison sentence, they freeze them. And I kind of don't get the point. Because it's like, to them, you haven't punished them at all.
No.
You've just froze them and they've woke up the same age into a world that probably has better healthcare.
Yeah.
And like cooler shit.
It's like, oh, you committed a really horrible crime. Take a really long nap and then we'll wake you up and you won't have experienced anything.
Exactly. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But
terrible punishment.
Yeah, but at least in like the case of Demolition Man, it gave us an excuse for Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone to have a fight in the future. And I guess at least in this, it gave us a man with beautiful curls and lovely, lovely eyes that I could lose myself in.
You just want to swim in.
I do. They're like an endless ocean.
So then they wake up Itchy.
Yeah.
Who has a big old reaction to being unfrozen. And we get introduced to the doctor or scientist guy who, in my notes, I wrote, looks like, now I'm going to absolutely say his name wrong. You know, Jean Reno? He was...
Yeah, I know, Leon.
Leon, yeah, he was the professional.
He does.
He looks exactly like him, but sounds nothing like him. And I wish he spoke with a French accent, because he would have potentially made it onto my redeeming points list if he had a French accent.
Yeah. I mean, that doctor's whole character is ridiculous. Like, everything he does is stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
Every line he's given makes him seem so dumb.
Yeah.
And they gave him... I don't know if he was, like, doing a stutter or if he actually had one.
Oh, I didn't quite notice that.
Between every single word almost in one particular scene, he was going like, And I honestly couldn't tell if he was doing that on purpose or if it was like he actually had that, as a stutter or something. I don't know.
But if it was in a French accent, you would have loved it.
Yeah.
That's my 100%. Point.
But he has like the most... What was it? His name's... Okay, so according to IMDb, he is Dr. Voleslav Aleksevich, and then has like the most Midwestern USA accent.
Yeah. You literally put no thought into the accent behind a name like that.
No, they gave him a really cool name and that was it. But like the same with like... So the general lady, she's General Van Ryberg, and that's not a very American name. But she's just like the ultimate American, isn't she? She's also a lesbian. I quite like that. So there's a lesbian couple in this film.
Yeah, so...
and it's never... It just kind of is. There just is a lesbian couple.
Yeah, they never make a big deal about it, which is quite progressive, especially for...
2007 macho blockbuster film to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I quite like that. That was nice. Yeah, like there wasn't a lot of that at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they could have like proper hammed it up and had them like making out and stuff.
Exactly, and this is the kind of like, just judging by the poster, the kind of like bro movie you'd expect to have that happen.
Exactly, but I think they kiss once.
Yeah, but that was like near the end or when she's going off to war, and it was actually quite a touching scene.
Yeah, they kiss once, and it's for a purpose. It's for a reason connected to the story. Yeah, I actually have a note that says like it's actually quite progressive of Transmorphers to do.
Yeah. Oh, one of my other notes is the Doctor wearing an X-Men patch?
Where?
I can't remember. In like on his uniform. I think it might be a badge actually. I've put patch, but I'm pretty sure he has a silver badge, and it just looks like it's just an X with like with the ring, like the X-Men logo.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I didn't spot that at all.
The only thing that would make this film like cooler is if at some like a certain point, like Wolverine just showed up, and it's actually set in the X-Men universe. So Itchy got defrosted.
Yep.
We met that Doctor. Doctor was wearing an X-Men badge, potentially. I think this is the first time they mentioned their plan of kidnapping a robot.
Yeah.
And you find out as well that Mitchell used to be with General Van Rieberg's wife.
Yeah.
Karina Nadir.
So they got married 2 months before Mitch got frozen. Yeah. So he knows.
Yeah, and because there was one scene where they're talking about Mitchell's like old flame, and it's really vague, but then they clear it up.
That's quite good storytelling, like, peppering it in and then sort of doing a little bit of a reveal.
Yeah.
We get a scene with Itchy and Mitchy, maybe.
I like it.
Where they're in a hallway. I mean, there's not much to talk about this, but he asks Itchy to get him some smokes. But the whole conversation happens as they're like walking away from each other, and Itchy's face ends up so close to the camera that his mouth is basically on the lens.
I did not notice that at all. Yeah, because then it cuts from that to, like, honestly, I was really trying to think of, like, how to spin it into something good.
Yeah.
But there's just a terrible fight scene between, like, all the pilots, the lady pilots.
Honestly, this looked like the beginning of a porn. Like, that's all I could think about. I honestly thought, like, some t-shirts were going to get ripped off or something.
Yeah, because they were all wearing vests.
Yeah.
A lot of them had perky nips.
It was just, it was a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and like they tried to do that thing that a lot of low budget films do in their fight scenes, where they do like the slow-mo.
But the slow-mo with like the blur.
Yeah, and it looked awful, and none of what they were doing looked impactful, which just added to like the porn vibe.
Yeah.
They were throwing punches, but it looks like they were just like stroking each other. And then I think it's Xandria comes in to break it up with the best line of the movie: "We fight machines, not each other." Yeah. I feel like you could live your life by that quote.
I do. But I think at this point is where I started to go, like, I started to wonder who all these people were.
Yeah, definitely.
There are probably about 3 people in this scene who I don't know if I've seen them in the movie yet. Like, I actually can't recall any of their faces.
Like, I'm pretty sure you definitely had seen... Is it Blair?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a blonde girl who is in it for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Who Itchy gets really frisky with.
Yes.
Like, starts putting his hand
down her shirt, yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, and then, but then that's never referred to again.
No, that whole thing, though, that scene made me uncomfortable.
It was very aggressive.
Yeah, it was. I didn't enjoy that. So yeah, then right after the fight, it cuts to them all drinking, and Itchy's really trying to get everyone to drink.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, he's like the irresponsible friend.
Oh yeah, and we get introduced to the Doctor's robot.
Yeah, and my note here just says he 100% fucks that robot.
Yeah, and then Itchy wants a sex robot as well.
Yeah, that whole scene was so weirdly uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Itchy would say, like, "Can you build me one of those?" And then instead of replying, the Doctor would just, like, up and down his eyebrows, like.
But then also everyone else in the room is listening to this conversation.
Yeah, I know.
We get our first and maybe only instance of robot racism as well.
Oh yeah, like a few of them get up from the table.
Yeah, because they don't want to drink in certain company. Yeah, so one of the pilots says the company is a bit much for me, and it's directed at the robot that the Doctor has made. The
fuck droid.
Yeah, sex robot. Sex bot.
Call it what it is. So they get up, and I think the scene was supposed to be kind of like a lot of like war movies do it, don't they? Like the little celebration, get to know the characters before the big battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
But instead they focused entirely on building Itchy a sex robot. So you cut straight from that to like General Van Rieberg saying goodbye to her wife while they're crying their eyes out.
Wait, hang on, I want to rewind just a sec, because literally the whole scene is about Itchy wanting a sex robot, but the way that Itchy and the Doctor are looking at this poor robot,
I know,
with their creepy smiles.
Like, I know it's a robot, and in like the context of the film, I don't know, maybe it doesn't even make it better. But I just felt so bad for the actress.
Yeah. Just like these two guys leering over her, like, stop, please. And then hard cut to...
Yeah. They're just talking about wanting to fuck a robot, and then you see like a loving couple be torn apart.
Yeah. So the actor that isn't the general, did you know she was in WWE?
Yeah, because I recognise her.
I thought you would. I thought you would have brought it up already.
No, because honestly, like I wasn't watching WWE while she was on it. Well, no, I was.
Okay.
It was like the very tail end of me paying attention, but I knew I recognised her. And then obviously I looked on her IMDb and it came up. But that is hilarious. And she left because of all like the rampant sexism in WWE, apparently.
Oh, okay.
She said it was like being in like a locker room of leering jocks or something like that. I don't really know the exact quote, but yeah.
I feel like a lot of wrestlers, when they first try and break into acting, get into these sort of like B-movie, mockbuster roles. Yeah.
I'd say there are like two success stories of wrestlers turned actors, and it's Batista and The Rock.
John Cena. Yeah, and The Rock, of course. Wait, were you not going to say John Cena? Because he has a successful movie career, my friend.
I mean, I'm judging this by they've made actual good films, not just they've made films.
Hey.
Because The Marine is a piece of shit.
So, have you seen Blockers or Cock Blockers, whatever it's called?
No.
That's actually good. Like, it's actually good. John Cena plays a dad in that, and I actually really enjoyed it. Because I don't know John Cena from wrestling. I never really watched wrestling all that much as a kid. And, yeah, so I only know him from being an actor. Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he can be okay.
Yeah, like I'm not knocking John Cena. He's got like good comedy timing and stuff. I think he's
funny.
Yeah, he is funny. I haven't personally seen a film where I've thought, oh man, John Cena was so good in that. Like maybe it's out there.
So who was the other one? The Rock and who?
Batista.
Oh, Batista, of course.
He's Drax.
Again, I don't see him as a wrestler at all.
No, yeah, he just was Drax.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are other, like, Roddy Piper had a very good acting career, actually. He did, They Live, and then was in Always Sunny, where he played the maniac.
Okay.
So, I reckon that was good.
Anyone else?
Triple H was in Blade Trinity.
Sick.
And he was awful. Yeah, there just aren't a lot of good wrestlers turned actors. Or actors turned wrestlers.
But what about actors turned wrestlers?
Yeah, like David Arquette.
Did he really wrestle?
Yeah, he's a massive wrestling fan. We're getting off track. If you want me to talk about David Arquette's run in WCW, he ended up as the World Heavyweight Champion. And it was a move that they think helped tank the company.
Wow.
But it's really interesting. But the guy, he loves wrestling, and he actually took it seriously. And I think it was like maybe even just 2 years ago. So you got to think David Arquette's probably in his early 50s. Do you reckon?
Go on, make a guess, and I'll look it up.
I want to say he's between 48 and 52.
I want an exact number.
49.
Oh, 48.
But even still, so he's 48 years old, and a couple years ago he took part in like a death match, like a really, you know, like the proper like hardcore wrestling weapons, and had like glass in him and all sorts of shit, and it was just horrific to watch.
I had no idea, but I mean, like, respect the guy, really.
Yeah, no. I actually think for this podcast we should watch Ready to Rumble, which is the film that was a tie-in with his run in WCW.
Okay, we can add it to the list.
Definitely, because that would be funny.
So, back to Transmorphers, though. So now we're at the main battle, I would say,
the start of the
main
battle,
movie.
Where Mitchell throws away a cigarette that he took like 2 drags from, even though he really, really wanted the cigarette. So that was weird. They kind of make out like cigarettes are hard to come by as well.
Yeah.
So everyone watching him do that must have just been like, oh, mate, come on. Like, give us a puff. Give us Jesus tokes.
So one of my notes is this part, the set where they are is actually quite cool.
Well, I read something today about the sets.
Hang on. So if you've read something, can I say something I wrote down while I was watching it?
Okay.
So to me, it looks like a paintball field or something like that.
No, it's so weird you said that as well. So no, that isn't what I was going to say about the sets, but one of my notes literally just says, I would love to play paintball here.
Wow.
But no, what I read about the sets is, apparently in this film, they used a lot of the sets from Firefly and the film Serenity.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I bet that was like a huge get for them. Like, they were super pumped.
Yeah, definitely, because Firefly was like early noughties, wasn't it? And this was 2007. So why was the Firefly set still there? Because they like tear down sets, don't they? Do you reckon it's just one of those ones that Hollywood reuse? Like, maybe that set wasn't built for Firefly and it's just on the backlot as like generic sci-fi set.
Yeah, because it's quite multi-purpose, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. It's ruined buildings, essentially.
Because Hollywood do that, don't they? They have like there's a diner in California that's been in loads of films. I found out the other day, actually, that there's a McDonald's. I can't remember if it is in LA or if it's somewhere else in America, but it's a McDonald's, fully operational McDonald's, but it's just for filming in. So they film movie scenes set at McDonald's there, and also McDonald's commercials get filmed there. But that's crazy, isn't it? There's like a fully operational McDonald's in America.
Can the public access it?
I don't think so.
Maybe not go in.
Not,
how pissed would you be if you were craving a McDonald's and turned up at this one place?
I mean, you know, if you're in like the Screen Actors Guild, maybe they'll let you in.
Make your own Big Mac.
Yeah.
I hope we get a Big Mac sponsor now. A Big Mac sponsor, a McDonald's sponsor. Cut that.
No. We just want to be sponsored by Big Macs. I don't care about any of the other burgers McDonald's do. I don't care about nuggies.
We actually outright speak against anything other than the Big Mac.
Like, I'm not telling you to go to McDonald's and get a quarter pounder. I'm telling you that if you go to McDonald's and get anything other than a Big Mac, stop listening to this podcast now.
You're not allowed to listen to the podcast.
I don't even like Big Macs.
No, I don't eat meat, so... So, this is the first time we see a practical robot.
Yeah, there's a buzzsaw for a hand, right?
A real life... No, what I'm saying, is that it's the first time we see...
It's a prop.
An actual prop. Yeah. Exactly that. So we've got a prop robot hand holding down Mitch.
Yeah.
From his point of view, it's a CGI shot of a Transmorpher with the buzzsaw hand. But then we see the ultimate strength of Mitch as he kicks a robot to the ground that's pinning him down. How light are these Z-bots?
I mean, you find out a bit later why Mitch is so strong, though.
That is very true. That is actually really true. I didn't put those two things together in my notes, but that's just a little, very, very good point.
Little bit of foreshadowing. Maybe you're supposed to think like, damn.
Yeah.
This film just worked its magic on you, Wez. That's what's happened.
Oh my god, I was so caught up in it, I didn't realise. Is this movie clever enough that that's why they allowed Mitch to kick a robot to the ground?
I'm going to say yes.
I'll agree.
But my brain says no.
My heart says yes.
Yeah, so there's a good... that whole bit where he's pinned down, I thought they did a really good job of creating like a genuine sense of urgency there. And you get more of those like big... They're the coolest ones. Those Transmorphers that turn into like just like a tank with like the one big cannon on the front. They were sick.
The Transmorphers themselves, the CGI is pretty terrible.
It's pretty bad. Like it has some scenes where like the Transmorphers are shooting and they're meant to be shooting at the characters on the ground. They're kind of like hovering above and they're just shooting the complete wrong direction. Sometimes when the characters on the ground are firing their like laser guns, the lasers not even come out the barrel. I noticed that quite a few times.
So I noticed that the robots were just such bad shots.
But you know, it all just adds to the rustic charm of Transmorphers, I think.
Yeah, that rustic is a word.
You know, it's a homegrown film. I wonder what the budget was on this.
Yeah, well, I'll look it up. You make a guess.
It's less than $1 million. I don't know how much things cost. Because this film was like distributed and stuff. I reckon like 600,000.
Try half in that, pal.
300,000.
Exactly that.
Wow. That explains a lot.
That's not too bad. That's quite a cheap movie.
That is quite a cheap movie. And I think this is the thing as well. Like, for 300,000 today, they could have made a better film, you know? Because, like...
Yeah, I agree.
It's easier to do better, cheaper CGI.
Yeah.
You know? You're still not going to get cinema quality, but if they were to remake Transmorphers today, and I hope they do, you know, it's 13 years now. We deserve a reboot. They could get those Transmorphers looking sick.
During this scene... So going back to like the physical Z-Bot prop, we see a full Transmorpher prop.
You do.
And I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I thought it looked cool. One of my notes just says, I want that prop. I wonder where that prop is today. Like, do you reckon the director kept that?
100%. Someone still has that.
Yeah,
body, right?
You wouldn't get rid of that. It's a Transmorpher. It might be the only Transmorpher in existence. Because I really doubt they built more than one.
Although, in its physical form and not CGI, it's so much smaller.
Yeah, it really is.
But when they're, like, operating on it and stuff, I think it looks really good. Like, it's a shame that the CGI kind of let down these Transmorphers, because when it was an actual physical prop, it looked great. I really thought it looked good. When they opened his chest and you had all the cobwebs and stuff.
All that bit was, like, no worse than an episode of Doctor Who, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
And I think that's a fine standard. It's not like the best standard, but it definitely worked. Going back though, before, because I have got some notes on the weird Z-Bot autopsy they do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's a bit where one of them throws like a weird blue disc, and then they can all do it.
So who throws a blue disc?
I can't remember. Like the soldiers throw like these weird glowing blue frisbees that like completely destroy the robots.
Are they the EMAGs?
I don't know, because the EMAGs are like the weird satellites, aren't they?
They said EMAGs a lot.
They did say EMAGs a lot. But yeah, I couldn't tell what it was. One of them just suddenly did it, and I was like, what? Like, when did they get this power?
That's the thing. I feel like the crew at the beginning of this movie didn't have half the guns and weaponry that they have in the second half.
Yeah, I know. And then like the Transmorpher steals Nadir.
Yeah.
And one of I think it's Blair's just like, I'm going after her, and without even a thought picks up like a dead Transmorpher's jetpack and just flies off.
Yeah.
And I was just
she
like,
just
that's
knows
so
how to use
fucking cool. Like, why isn't she the protagonist? Why wasn't Blair the protagonist of this film?
The thing is, this is the first Z-Bot that they've captured.
Yeah.
How does she know that she can just rip this jetpack off its back and use it herself?
And then, like, some stuff happened, and, like, really, it was hard to follow a lot of the fights. But, like, something happened, and then you get, like, reaction shots of, like, the soldiers. And I just couldn't tell what had happened. And one of my notes just says, sometimes I feel like something cool has happened, but I can't tell what.
But then also I feel like it hasn't.
Yeah, because like it's very likely that the editor just put those shots in, because why not? Yeah, so then they head down to the robot autopsy scene. Suddenly everyone's dry as well. I don't know. That's just me being nitpicky.
Sure. Bad
continuity.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah, I know. They had me with the good rain, but they lost me with the bad rain continuity. So the doctor asks for hydroclamps and thermodynes and gets handed a screwdriver and a drill without a battery.
Oh, I wish I'd picked up on that.
So
that is amazing.
funny.
I wish I'd picked up on that, but I think it was funny you telling me that. Oh man.
Just like I can forgive like just using a couple screwdrivers and saying there's something called hydroclamps. But when he asks for the thermodyne and Itchy hands him a fucking drill that's just missing a battery pack, and they hadn't even really like spray painted the drill silver or tried to make it look futuristic. It's just a drill.
Hey, rewind. I can't forgive calling a screwdriver a clamp.
Okay.
I really can't.
Because what the fuck is it clamping? Yeah, there's my note there that says I want that prop because I want a Transmorpher autopsy in my living room, please.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you get the big reveal of the movie. the swerve.
Yeah, so we're sort of at the scene that's like the second autopsy of the robot, which is inside now rather than in like some sort of tent.
Yeah. Yeah, they've brought it down to the base, which caused a lot of friction.
I'm really glad that they kept using this physical prop because, like you were saying, it just looks so good.
Yeah, I feel like maybe it looks better than it actually did just because the CGI robots looked quite shit.
Yeah.
But it was so refreshing seeing that robot prop.
Yeah, and the blood and guts inside, like, it looks cool.
Oh, and then you find out as well in that scene, the Transmorphers weren't a weapon that the aliens sent. They were the aliens.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, that was going to be, like, the big twist. But then they get you...
I've got the quote down. We always theorized the machines were created by an alien race, but they are the alien race. I actually quite like that. I was like, that's kind of cool. And yeah, absolutely. Then the huge twist of the movie is that Mitch was a robot the whole time.
Yeah, because the way they reveal it is the doctor walks up to Mitch and does something to his arm.
He like takes it off. I don't know.
They don't show it. Like it sounds like he's removing something. It makes like the whole like noise, you know?
Yeah.
Like some robot-y noises that they've found online. But you don't ever see what the doctor's done. But
no.
You can tell like what's happening.
Well, it was quite cool because he said like that the female robot was his second or third creation. And then he was like, because my first, I don't know, went wrong or was too good or something. And yeah, then you find out it was Mitch. And honestly, I wasn't expecting Mitch to be a robot at all.
No, me either. I don't know if that's because the writers even did leave the breadcrumb of like Mitch being stronger, and I think they did mention that he spent more time on the surface than anyone else.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, the twist 100% worked on me. And I didn't think Matthew Wolff was a bad actor. The way he reacted to this news, I thought it was quite genuine. I was like, oh, Mr. Wolff.
You sly dog.
I know. It's the eyes.
They get you. They draw you in.
I can feel his pain at finding out that he's a robot.
Yeah.
So yeah, they decide that he has to go do a suicide mission.
Yep.
Planting something in a tower. And now I don't really remember what was so important about the tower, but during the battle they all started going on about it.
Yeah, it kind of loses me again.
Yeah, it's during like the fights, which should be the most entertaining parts, but they seem to have important plot points that the characters mention, but I just lose it.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just like going over my head or in one ear out the other. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention, but I feel like because you're getting confused as well, that it's just not explained enough.
Yeah, definitely. But either way, they send him out on this suicide mission. They're in like, I don't know, like the passenger compartment on one of the ships, and there's some hover bikes.
Oh man, the hover bikes.
Yeah.
They are amazing. So I have a quote from the doctor. So yeah, the doctor starts shouting, "They're shooting at us," and then he says, "We got one," and it just reminded me of, now this is pod racing.
Yeah, it's like the whole hoverbike bit. Like at first I was like, "Oh, hoverbikes, that's so sick," but then as soon as they got on them, none of it was sick.
It just looks like trash.
It looked so bad. There was another scene in like, I can't remember where it was, that was quite poorly green screened, but this was just
yeah. There's a couple
awful.
Scenes in like a hangar.
Yeah,
where it's so terribly green screened.
Yeah, and you see all like the ships take off out of the little hatches, but yeah, the hover bikes did not live up to the hype.
No.
The cool like dogfights though between the good guy spaceships and the aerial Transmorphers was pretty cool. I just feel like you can't really go wrong with a cool dogfight.
Yeah.
That will always keep me entertained. You get that scene where it seems like Nadir has died.
Yeah, so it's a big dramatic scene where she's died, and Blair is really sad that she's died. Mitch shows up, and then Blair kind of reveals that Nadir has died. And then all of a sudden, like 30 seconds later, she just walks out from behind a rock.
She just like steps out and is just like, "Nah, I'm cool."
Like, no, I'm just behind a rock, mate.
Like, no fucking biggies, guys. I'm all right. I don't know why she's Australian. But yeah, that whole bit, I was just like, wait. So was that Nadir or was that a different character?
Well, that's the thing. I never have any idea if I'm looking at the right person. Like, it takes me a couple minutes to realise, like, yes, this is this person. Like, the only people I could keep track of were Mitch, Itchy, the General, and the Doctor, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyone else could have been anyone.
Yeah. And then there is a really unintentionally hilarious shot of them all running towards the tower where it's really zoomed out. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's like they're all like tiny on the screen, but like CGI'd for some reason.
Well, I think it might be a green screen, but just made really, really small.
It just looked awful though.
Yeah.
It really did.
They were just like sliding along.
So they go in the tower, and this is the first time I became aware that the tower is a transmorpher. I don't know if they had mentioned that before.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, because they go in there, it's all heavily guarded, and then they're talking about the tower being a transmorpher as if we'd always known or something. I don't know, maybe there was a reveal earlier that I missed.
Oh, okay, because I thought the reveal was when it literally turned into a transmorpher. For me, at least.
Oh.
So maybe I missed something. Just real quick, I want to bring up the Doctor's sex robot's outfit in this scene. This weird latex silver one-piece thing that like has no back and is quite revealing. It's just so jarring compared to everything else that's going on.
Yeah, it is very out of place.
Yeah, and like I don't know if that's like, you know, supposed to be for, like you say, like the bros watching this movie so they can go, oh yeah, that robot.
Yeah, I know, like her whole character, it's just strange.
Well, the only reason she's in it is so it makes sense that Mitch is also a robot.
Exactly. Yeah, like making her a character towards the end, the whole, like her just being in a revealing costume.
Yeah.
The climax of the film is just kind of stupid. She has no, there's nothing about her, you know, like I feel like the writers did a disservice on this poor woman who throughout this whole film is just there to either be like leered at or objectified.
Absolutely.
It's just a plot point for the main character, and she's not given like any lines really. I think she has a line during when she says like, I'm an android. And that's really it.
That's the thing though. I mean, like just a little while ago we were saying about how it doesn't sort of sexualize the lesbian couple or anything like that, and that's like a good thing. And then all of a sudden they half sexualize this robot for no real reason, but it's not enough for it to be like creepy, I guess, or
no, I feel like they don't do it enough to be like, this is overt sexualization. They kind of hit this weird point where it is creepy.
Yeah, because if they went over the top, at least then you know, oh, this is just
like, this is for the bros.
Exactly.
But like the point they were at in the film, like the way it all seemed, just gave off such like a weird, creepy vibe. Like, oh, she's not enjoying that.
Here's this costume I have for you to wear.
Yeah, I know. Like he's changing her like a doll or something.
So the tower turns into a robot, and again, for me, I actually thought that was a good twist.
Yeah, but do you get a real clear shot of the tower as a transmorpher?
Quite a clear shot.
Because I feel like you saw it maybe like waist up.
You see some arms and somewhat a head.
I don't know. I don't remember thinking like, oh, that's so cool. You know.
Well, I saw it moving, and then you get the general reacting in a really odd way. But yeah, it slowly kind of comes up. I think his arms come up. Got it going now. Yeah, so it is waist up. It's definitely waist up. You see some arms. You see a head that really looks like Optimus Prime's head, to be fair.
Yes. So maybe they do rip off Transformers at least once in the film.
For like a split second,
yeah. My next note is just, this film is losing me towards the end. I feel like I just wasn't following what was going on at this point. Like, the general was counting down something big was about to happen. Mitchell was in that weird chamber dying, I guess. I don't even know what he was really doing, to be honest with you. I knew whatever he was doing was going to like shut down all the robots. I got that.
But I don't know why.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you why. I was just like, okay, so he's going to die and all the robots are going to die. There's another shot of the fucking radar.
Yep.
With the periscope lady who just didn't move for the entire film.
I think my favourite shot of the movie is around this point somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a big giant robot stepping on a smaller robot.
That's cool.
And I just thought that was great. I loved that because someone made that decision like, these robots don't give a shit. They'll step on their own kind.
Yeah. No, I like that too.
That was my favourite bit of the whole movie.
The entire film.
The entire movie.
I mean, that's right at the end, isn't it? Because, I mean, right after that, yeah, like, the General Van Ryberg's counting down, and just as she's about to say go, or whatever, Mitchell dies, and all the robots just die. And then, honestly, I think the film wraps itself up in about 30 seconds after that.
Yeah, well, no, Mitchell doesn't die. He steps out of the capsule.
Oh, does he? Oh, yeah, and he starts having, like, visions, doesn't he, of, like, or, like, flashbacks.
So, yeah, he steps out. The subtitles literally say triumphant music.
Yeah, right.
And then basically, yeah, he steps out, kind of collapses to the floor. We get a reunion. Yeah, so he has visions of like a bright sky. And then, no, he does die. He dies on the ground.
He does die.
Apologies, I got mixed up there because I remembered that he stepped out of the capsule. But I think it's a testament to what you were just saying in that the end of the movie just kind of loses you, because I didn't even remember that he had died.
Yeah, it's because it's like there's the movie and then it's building to the end and then the end just kind of happens, because literally like he dies and then the sun comes out like immediately and everyone's happy. You get a shot of these two ships flying past with fireworks,
and the fucking fireworks.
And it's literally straight out of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, like the X-Wings over Endor. And there's one shot of, like, I think it's Blair, like, looking over the horizon. All,
yeah,
like,
she gets the last shot of the movie. Like, how
the
does that make
last
sense?
shot of the movie has a very visible commercial plane flying overhead in it.
Yeah, is that supposed to... Did they use that so it looked like they were retreating or something?
100% not supposed to be there. 100% not supposed to be there. It's just a plane. You can see the blinking lights. But they left it in. I can't even imagine that would have been hard to edit out.
But did they keep it because it looked like a robot or something?
Maybe that was their like logic, but it absolutely just looked like they forgot to edit that out.
So that's the end of the movie. Mitch dies.
Mitch dies, humans win.
2 years later, they released a sequel to this. So
a prequel.
Oh, it's a prequel?
It's a prequel, because obviously this ends with all the robots dying. Spoiler alert. The prequel, what's it called? Like, it's Dawn of something, isn't it?
Rise of Man?
Rise of Man or something. Is about the 2014 initial invasion of the Transmorphers.
I see. So while watching the credits, I was finishing up my notes, watching the movie, and the cast list is so long and there's so many names in there that I had no idea were even in the movie. Like,
yeah,
there's someone called Catfish.
Right.
There's someone called Raphael. There's someone called Tushaninski. Like, who were these people?
I know. There was like this one woman that showed up every now and then, and she was clearly meant to be someone important. She was like an older woman, maybe like the leader, I think they called it, of like the Science Guild or something like that.
Yep.
And I never once knew her name, but she was clearly important.
Also in the credits, there's one song credited in the movie, and underneath that song, there's a MySpace URL, which I really liked.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, 2007.
Huge respect for the MySpace URL.
Yeah.
And then also, John Murphy Dog Murphy Jr. gets credited as moral support, which I really liked.
Well, thank you very much, John Murphy.
Did you watch any of the credits at all?
No, not really.
They had a little fun with the no animals were harmed bit.
Oh, I love it when they do that.
No animals were harmed in the production of this screenplay, except one robot. Woohoo!
I mean, more than one robot though, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Like every robot. They killed everyone.
So I was watching it and I was like still cracking up during the credits, which I liked. There's no post-credit scene, which I did check for as well.
Yeah, I suppose, because I was thinking that as well, but this is a year before Iron Man.
Okay, that's really interesting.
So post-credit scenes weren't really a big thing then, were they?
I think if we watch any more Asylum movies, they will definitely do the post-credit scene.
It would be interesting to watch Transmorphers Fall of Man, because that was released, when the MCU was in its fledgling years. It'd be interesting to see if they borrow anything from those.
I reckon they do, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, so that was the film.
Do you have a list of redeeming factors at all?
No, but I can talk about the bits. Like the film, other than like the last 5 minutes, I was never bored of this movie.
Yeah.
Like it kept me entertained. I don't know if that's because I went into it like wanting to be entertained and kind of like purposely, like you said earlier, looking for the good stuff. Yeah, I can't knock the entertainment factor from this movie. I think, honestly, like, this podcast, if anything, has made me kind of want to go into every film I watch with that mindset.
Yeah, I think, for me, most of the time, I want to go into a movie liking it, especially if I'm seeing it in a cinema.
Yeah.
We saw Suicide Squad together, and I think you probably remember how optimistic I was about it.
Yeah.
Like, I was really hoping that it would be good. I wanted to be proved wrong, and I wanted everyone I was seeing it with to be proved wrong, because I wanted the movie to succeed, just because it's a movie. But yeah, I think, obviously with Suicide Squad, it didn't reach those expectations at all.
I think you're right about, just in general, like when you see a film in the cinema, you're way more prone to like it. I don't know if that's because like you've spent money on it and it's more of an event, but I could probably list off a few films that I've seen in the cinema and liked, and then on a rewatch wasn't that impressed and couldn't really tell what had made me enjoy it so much. And I think the same goes maybe for this kind of mindset. Like, I think if I was to just put on Transmorphers again, maybe, I don't know, like on a bad day or something, maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, when you're looking for the good stuff and you're rooting for this movie to be good and get a good rating from yourself.
I was in this film's corner, and it made a big difference to how I watched it. And honestly, this could probably go for the whole rest of this podcast, for however long we do it, is we will go into every single film we talk about with that mindset. So like, if you don't, then maybe your experience will vary. Yeah, on the whole, the film kept me entertained. Whether or not it's a good movie, I don't know.
I think it would be fair to say it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
But before we get into sort of our rating of it, I want to go down our redemption points.
Yeah.
So I have an actual list here.
Okay, if you've got an actual list, do you want to just read yours off and I'll say whether or not?
Yeah,
I agree.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 points on my redemption list. The first point is the shot of the underground city. I thought was great. I actually really liked it.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that one. It was awesome. I couldn't tell if it was like a CG model or like a matte painting that they had enhanced with After Effects or something, but it looked really cool.
Yeah. I also really liked things being revealed as robots. So the rocks and debris, Mitch himself and the tower.
Yeah.
I like that. They kind of used the same twist 3 times in the movie, but it paid off every time somehow.
And that was cool. Like, I can't agree with the tower twist because I don't know. Like I said, like by the end of the film lost me quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the twist about Mitch definitely worked. And I would go as far as to say it was a good plot point.
And then my last redemption point is the physical robot prop they used was really cool, and that they sort of used it for about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes of the movie. And it was just good to look at, considering you'd spent a lot of the movie looking at quite bad CGI robots. It was nice to see something physical. And
I think a good metric to judge probably all the films that we'll talk about on Polish a Turd. Is this a good film to watch with my friends with a few beers or something, you know? And I would 100% say yes. If you're looking for like a bad movie that has plenty of stuff in it that you can quote and laugh at and will keep you entertained, this is it. Because it's not a bad, boring movie.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I could easily watch this again with mates having a few beers, you know?
Well, I'll give you my scale. We can decide on where it lives on the Polish Turd scale. So it's a 5-point scale.
Mm-hmm.
Technically 6 points. So we've got the star rating, which is a diamond, but we only give that to things that have so many good points in the movie that
it's just not even a bad film. Because
Exactly
I feel
that.
like even like a 5-star turd could still be a bad film,
Yes.
but is a good bad film.
Yes.
You know, because like a 5-star turd to me is like The Room.
Exactly. So The Room would get our star rating, which is a diamond. Bad movies that are actually good. They've got so many redeeming factors that it's actually a good movie.
Definitely.
So number 1 would be a polished turd. So straight, it is a polished turd. Number 2 would be a slightly cleaner turd.
Yep.
Number 3 is a clean pinched turd. So very average. Number 4 is a plain old stinky turd. And number 5 is diarrhea.
So 5's the worst.
So 5 will be the worst, yeah. Or we could switch that round 5 to 1, I guess. Oh yeah, because 5 would be like 5 stars, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. Switch the metric around, but it's still...
Well, I definitely don't think Transmorphers is 100% polished turd.
No, neither do I.
I wouldn't say...
I think for me, it's going to sit right in the middle of a clean pinched turd.
Clean pinch turd. That's what I would call this one as well.
It's not terrible to watch
No.
with a few friends, like you were saying. It's not the best bad movie you could watch.
No, definitely not. But there's enough in it, like I said, to keep you watching, to make you laugh, and that's all you really want at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
there are better bad movies out there, 100%.
Excellent. So, Transmorphers, a clean pinched turd.
That should have been the subtitle for the whole film.
I like it. Well, we can wrap the podcast up there, I reckon.
Yeah, so I guess next episode, hopefully, I don't know if we've agreed on the next film, I really want it to be Axe Giant.
Yeah, I haven't even looked it up yet, but I'll sign off on it here and now.
Cool, so join us next time for Axe Giant, which is what I can't remember, it had a subtitle, didn't it? It's a film about a giant zombie with an axe,
Sounds good, man.
which sold me instantly. This was fun. This was the whole thing's going to be a learning experience.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be polishing our own turd as the podcast
Absolutely.
comes out.
Absolutely, we'll be polishing our own turd. I love that.
Yeah, so bear with us.
But thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll see you on the next one. Bye.